So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with the green part right there that you guys see, and I'm just going to kind of read it and see my student there. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning.
I'm going to be doing some reading and spelling activities with you to see what you've already learned and what we can work on in our sessions together. It's all right if you don't know something. It's not for a grade. It's just for me to use to know what I should teach you. I can't help you on the activities today, so just try your best. If you see me writing, it's not because you did anything wrong. I'm just making notes for myself. Okay? So, and then the black right there would be the instructions. Let's just kind of take a minute and just read over those instructions real quick, just so we don't have any, if there's any questions, we can talk about that. Any questions on that?
Okay. What if they miss 5 words on a list and you go to the next card? What if they like get a few of those but then miss another 5? Do you go to the next card or do you just go to card 10?
If they miss the first 5 words on card 1, then you go straight to 10, right?
Okay.
The other ones would be consecutive, right?
Okay.
And
So
then
like, let's say we get to card like 6, and they miss 5, or they get a few right, then they miss 5 in a row. Do you go to card 7, or do you go automatically to card 10? Go to card 7, and if they miss another 5, like they get a few right and then miss 5, do you go to card 8, or do you ever just skip portions?
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, you skip portions when number 2 happens.
Okay.
But 1 through 6, especially, are ones that have different skills that they might have. Like they might have our control,
Okay.
but not Magic E. And you'll see on Magic E comes first. So that's why you kind of want to get to at least card 6 if you can. Then we're talking about endings and other things. And so you can, at any point when they've missed 5, skip down. You can have them finish reading that card, and then just go on to card 10. If I always do that if they're close to the bottom of it. But if they are starting it, you can always say, okay, that's great, great, let's go to another card.
Sometimes they, see those cards and they see all the words and you can tell right away the anxiety. So is it okay still to use a card so they're just looking at the one row?
Yes.
Even if they hopefully move their finger?
Yes. And the purpose of them to use their finger is not to blend. It's so that you know what word they're on, and especially if they're reading really fast. That helps you keep track of where they are.
But you don't have that in your script reminding them to use their finger.
No.
So if the kid doesn't use the finger and you need to know where they are,
It's
is
in-
it coaching?
It will
It's
be in the script.
Oh, I didn't see it. Okay, sorry, didn't read the green.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do next.
And then native words.
Okay. So, all right, so then I'll go ahead, any other questions, we're good on that? Okay. So I'll go ahead and read that green part again. I'm going to have you read some words now. Read the words, and I can show here the card right here, and I can also point as I'm talking. Read the words going across the page and follow with your fingers so I know which word you're reading. The last row of each card has made-up words on it. Okay. And then we can all, again, we all have our reading recording, or we can make it as she goes.
Pan, big, fox, sun, red, fat, 6, hop, cup, yet, pale, kid, job, hub, web, jam, vim, rot, yum, peg, hen, ziv, won't, sad, ket.
So do we continue on then? Okay, go ahead.
That, kisses, stop, hut, help, track, mint, strong, flunk, chest, splat, frisk, proud, spun, smell, crayon, glim, clob, gum, jet.
Do we continue on? Okay, here's the next card.
Make, kit, hop, cub, she, plat, drive, slope, flute, spray, tate, bide, plode, hoot, leet.
Okay. Turn it over. Next card.
Match, bridge. I don't know that one.
Okay, go to the next one.
Foge, fence, rage, price, horse, hug, Kent, ratch, kin, proge, dooch, gen, gan.
Do we keep going? Here's card 5.
May, blend, joy, crown, teach, snail, pie, follow, spoon, head, fail, might, sock, shirt, check, crawl, kelk, hook, glue, grow, wine, right, mole, cute, twin.
Keep going.
star, dirt, crowd, burn, I don't know. Don't know. Shire, cord, cure, cure, gur, I don't know. Nor, tur, sir.
We continue? Okay. Here's card 7.
Turned, kitten, hopping, puces, butter, venti, fenced, nothing, cup full, under, napkin, hiding, globin, brushes, neated, smarty, slice, foley, gowned, velvet, fame, flimer, dropped, hoofed, spring.
Do I continue? No. Why? 5 consecutive. Okay. All right. Very good. And at this point, what would I do then? Go to card 10. Right? We'll just skip that part. Do we have? Do you guys have the corrected versions?
Okay.
What's that?
Okay, it was hoofed. What'd you say on hoofed? I'd have to have her repeat the last.
Yeah.
She said hoofed. I thought she said hoofed.
Go ahead and act like an instructor. And act like you didn't hear it. What would you say?
Would you please repeat that last line for me?
Hoofed.
I mean, the last line.
Oh,
The whole last line.
fame.
Can you remember the mistake you made?
Limer. That was really good. Drop. Hoofed
Okay.
Spring.
Good.
and spring.
Okay.
And we know that you can say ooh, but
So would you give that to Mark President?
But it's not before.
Probably
L.
not.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
It's not before.
Yeah.
So,
it wouldn't be common in that.
she said climber. She said
Yeah,
thing.
fine.
I've been with you going so slow, I can't like write all.
I didn't hear you said jet or jet, so I would have had to ask you to read that whole row.
Right.
Because I thought I heard jet, and I didn't know, I think you think jet.
It was Jet, but
That's why
yes,
it's hard to hear when those.
it is.
All right,
And
what are we
obviously
doing?
you guys are
Oh, this is.
far away.
Yeah, and I'm
From
watching
me.
them, well, you
Okay,
gotta
let's
watch
go to
their
number
mouth
10.
too.
Is this your answer? Is this your answer key?
Yeah,
Okay,
this
so
is an
what?
actual student.
Okay.
And I do want to mention something on number 6, Nor, N-O-R.
Yeah.
She just marked out the E, but she counted it wrong. So I think 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5.
No, maybe not.
Oh, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. Oh, yeah. No, she didn't count it right. So we don't know for sure what the student said, but that one counted wrong. She marked out the E, so I still said Nor.
But that's what it says.
It is. So I'm just telling
Oh,
you,
okay,
We're
okay.
thinking.
I should have just mispronounced
Mel,
it.
we're
but I-
thinking she might have said nar.
like
Made a short O. Which
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab over the O. which is in there.
I couldn't tell from what she marked, if,
great. Take
because
notes.
that would be
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
So count it wrong even though I said it.
Correctly.
I will
And then
mispronounce
she would
that
have
next
gone,
time. I got that
you would still do number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just now skipped that, but yes, you would
Alright.
still do 10.
6, 12.
Let's see what
And you
Except for
wouldn't
that.
tell them for 10 that these are
Weird word.
non-phonetic irregular words.
So how many did you guys get? What was your score for the
Oh,
first card?
20.
yeah,
21?
yeah.
So pale, and she said pale, and
And
won't,
sad.
sad. About number 2?
15.
Yep. Kisses for kiss, hot for shut, prod for prod, gum for grum, jet for jet,
He said crab.
proud for prod. Number card 3?
9.
9. Yep.
Spray.
Kit for kite, hot for hope, code for cube, plat for plate, spray for spy, hoot for cute.
This is when you know that they don't understand the vocalist is silent.
Yeah.
Or when it's short, when it's long.
Right.
count food wrong because of the you saying
Yeah.
I think
I
if
do
you
that
have
too.
the U, consonant E or U saying its name after the P, it will always make the U sound.
this is
You always say
nonsense,
yuck,
you know?
you can always have that yuck you.
You
Right.
instead of
Yeah.
She said poop.
I'm
So
trying
it's
to
wrong.
think.
You won't ever say.
Yeah, right.
You would say cute. I can hear him saying, ah.
She counted it wrong.
Yeah, oh,
I have another question. I have several students who take a very long time blending the word, and then they get it right. Should I count it right or wrong? Because they take forever
Isn't there a 5
to blend.
That
it.
is a really, yes, it's the 5 seconds.
Okay.
So if they've gotten them right within the 5 seconds, if they've looked at it a couple times and said something, then you can count it right. But if it's gone beyond that, just count it wrong. You don't have to tell them that, but
Okay.
go on.
Even if they got it right, that they took
Yes.
longer than 5 seconds.
Yes, because they really, at that point, they don't know it.
Okay.
I mean, they will with the long sounding out, but it's not automatic or,
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of a judgment, but especially if they keep pronouncing it different ways.
And do you encourage them to move on, or do you just wait and then, but you mark it wrong?
I would probably at that point mark it wrong unless they continue, and then I would just say, let's go on to the next one. We do want to tell you one thing that happened with one of Leah's students. She was working with a student, and she finally, the girl was working on a word, and Leah said, you can say pass. So she said pass, and then guess what? Pass, pass, pass. And, you know, she's, and I forget what what she even said. Leah
Oh,
said
yeah,
something
yeah.
to her, and she just said, well, I'm just kind of being casual about it.
You told her she could try.
Yeah.
You can try these.
She
So-
knew it was only an assessment.
So, I mean, you're gonna have different things happen.
And that's what
To
you
us.
hesitate to do, to tell them, oh, just say, I don't know, because they'll just, it's so hard for them that they'll.
I would just
do that.
probably say, go on,
Yeah, you're fine, go.
and,
Because they'll take that as a pass.
yeah. I don't wanna try any of these, just wanna be done.
Oh, what are these?
I don't have one. I don't.
Well, we'll just go ahead and go to the next one. So, because we're running out of time, so let's go ahead and read the black part of the giving sounds and take a minute here. Katrina?
How would you pronounce H-U-F-E?
Hugh. Hugh?
You.
Yeah, because again,
It's not L-R-S.
if you see the U and it's making its name, saying its name, after the H, after the C, after the P, after the M. There's some consonants where it will say U and not oo. Like after an R and an L, it'll say oo, not U. So if they said oo, then you would mark that wrong. Do we have the giving sounds?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
I know, one correction, it's just a correction, I thought about it. How many constitutes, I'm guessing, that it's, is it more than one?
I would, if they say it a second way, I take the second way. If they go to a third one, I might say which one, and they have to decide, but, or I will just count it wrong, because, right.
So what we're passing out now, we're giving you guys the giving sounds recording document. We're going to do the same thing. I'll act as the instructor, Mel will be the student, and you guys can mark as we go along. So get that ready for you. Do we have any questions on the instruction part of the giving sounds? Yeah, nice. Okay. So then again, I'll act like the instructor. All right. Mel, you're doing a very good job. We're going to do another activity. I'm going to have you give me the sounds for these letters, and again, I can point as I'm talking here, going down the page. If you know more than one sound for any, please tell me. Very nice and succinct. Easy.
Do I tell you the letter name? Do I say the name of the letter?
You will tell me the name of the sound
Okay.
that letter makes,
Okay.
or the sounds that that letter makes.
The, D, J, K, O, T, W, X, Y, Z, K, S, G.
Do you know any other sounds for that letter?
J, S.
Any other sounds that you know for that letter?
I don't know that one. J, like in fudge?
Okay, let's stop right there. We can talk about a few things right there. So, first of all, you kind of heard her maybe say what instead of whoop, or maybe they might say buh. What would we do in that case?
I just write by it, so I have to fix it.
Again, yeah, you're
I
making
don't really
the,
count it wrong, I just note it so that I can correct it when we do our first lessons, when we do our first.
Right.
Is that the right thing?
Yes. Yeah, if they're putting,
I was noted if that.
it might be they have been taught that and they know the sound, they just haven't been taught to clip it.
Dialect.
So, would be the same thing,
Yeah.
like maybe they would learn in school and then
That's
we
another
correct
one
And
we'll
that's
talk
another
about,
one,
yeah.
yeah, I just write.
so they may have been taught for just a single consonant
Tons
R.
of them are.
Yeah. A lot of phonics programs
I
are.
just say
So
correct
make a
that.
note of that, and we would probably mark that incorrect, right? If they say
Probably,
Yeah,
um,
that
I
is
would,
each
I would
other.
like to
Is
know
our
that,
way.
Huh?
so we'll be consistent, I would like to know if we count it wrong. Since schools teach it.
that's what all of us do.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of what we decided.
To count
Divide
it wrong
us.
if they say okay,
that?
that's good for me.
Wrong.
Wrong, so
We know that they know it is but it's a bigger correction that we're gonna make,
like a whole lesson.
a whole lesson. And again, this is where you might have to tell the student in school, it's Here, we're gonna say and why. And I even had a student that they had to say or because that was, they had been taught that, and that was
It's hard to
okay.
get it out of your
That was
mind.
okay. You know, I wasn't gonna change that. They felt better saying both. That would have been my daughter. She would have been, oh, and Linda also taught, she was my daughter's tutor. Okay, go on.
I'm very old.
Did you notice what Mel did when she did the hard G and then she paused? And what did I say?
But you were
But
not.
is that coaching?
No.
Okay.
It's okay.
Well, it's suggesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they would go right on, I would probably not say anything.
But they might be thinking about it.
But if they're thinking and kind of looking at it or pausing, you can say, do you know, is there another one? Don't tell them there is.
Yeah.
Do you know the second sound for that?
I do the same thing that you do. I ask them if they know any.
And that is in the
sounds.
script. We say, if you know any more sound for any, please tell me. So we can continue to say that.
Okay.
That's what I always do is, you know, I'll say, some of them have multiple sounds, let me know when those come.
Mhm.
But I don't understand. Do you know the second
No.
sound?
No. You don't want to say the second sound, because then they might guess and they might get it right,
and
but
you
they.
won't know it.
And what did
Might
Mel
really
do
know.
when she gave me that second sound? I don't know if you were watching
Oh,
that.
she kind of wanted reassurance.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Maybe,
Juh?
maybe just.
And I looked at him and did you see what he did?
No, I didn't.
He didn't give me any eye contact. He just, and so I went on.
Okay, go
Nice
ahead.
clipboard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, I guess we'll go through the rest of it here. Okay. And then just go to, we're done, right? First row.
Mhm.
Start.
Okay. Quoi? Shh. I don't know that one, that next one. I don't know some of these, but I think this one is ank. And I don't know.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
A, I, O, U, E. I don't know. Go on.
Go to the next one.
All, awk, a, I don't know the AU, but the next one is, I think, A. Can I just skip some of these if I don't know them? Okay, I think this one, it's IND. End,
Do you need any other sounds for
this IE, I think, is I. O is the next one. I don't know, I think OA is O. And I don't know any more there. This OU is oo.
that? You know any other sounds?
Oh, this one is oo. The O vowels. Old. U, or the UE.
And I'm sorry, you were probably going very fast. Can you give me these down at the bottom again? Can you just start right here with OU or OO?
Ooh. Old. Ost. U. And that's all.
Okay, next word.
E. The E, it says A.
Do you know any other sounds?
Don't know, I know EW says U. And then do I start here?
Yes.
R, No, I don't know some, but this WR says were. And the ARRY says airy. And the EAR is ear.
Any other sounds that you know? Okay, good job.
What questions do you have? Yes.
On the C8, which sounds are you wanting to know for that? Because there are 3 of them. Which one? I think you have
Do
chud.
you guys have
You have chud for Charlie.
that sheet right here?
Is that the only one you want them to know for the GE?
Lynn, do you want to?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. You guys have a separate sheet that's landscape, that's got some highlightings on it. That's your answer key. After we're done with this, we'll go over that.
Okay.
And you'll know a little bit more about what you're looking for.
Okay. Well, she said cut for that. Are we kind of wrong or did we kind of right?
Cup?
She said it. Okay.
If you aren't
For
sure,
the
write it
GE,
down.
you say it, you
Yeah.
count it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a chance they might know it
Yeah.
from a word,
Uh-huh.
or they might have been guessing. They might have thought it looked like the CK.
Or if it's their name.
Okay.
Very, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
When Adam had you go back, you got one that you didn't get again. Would you count that right, or would you count that?
And that is a good question. I just missed it the first time. And that's why he had me go back. If I'm looking at something else and they get it right the second time, I probably wouldn't count it.
Okay.
I'd probably,
Because I put that in question, like in a parentheses, like, okay, she didn't get the first time, but she
The
got
Oz, yeah. I know.
Do you ever say, do you know the schwa sound or not?
I've never gotten a kid that got schwa on a G. Never.
Not unless you've already taught
Not
it.
exactly.
let's go ahead and talk about this,
About the answers?
yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead then and take a look at your cheat sheet, your answer sheet. Is there a next one up here I can get?
But on this one, you can count most, but I probably wouldn't.
Actually, I think it's back
You
here.
just made a mistake.
I just moved.
Okay, this is an answer key for you guys. These are the answers that we're trying to elicit. If you take a look at it, there are some sounds that are highlighted in yellow. If it's highlighted in yellow, those are sounds that we are not teaching at DII. The GE was put together by another organization. It was not put together by us. It's something we have adopted and something that we use to assess our students, to help us teach them, but it does not mirror what we teach.
They're all
So,
They're all red words. We do teach it, but not like a lesson.
Well, yes, right, but we don't teach it
Right.
as a sound,
Right.
separate sound. And let me give you an example. If you take a look over in the far right-hand column, you've got W-O-R. You'll see there are two sounds for W-O-R. We teach word, okay, for W-O-R, like in the word worship or word. The second sound, which is highlighted, war, we do not teach. So any words that are going to have war in it are going to be, we will teach as red words, because there aren't very many of them. So that being said, you're not going to try and elicit that sound from your student when they are looking at W-O-R. Don't look at W-O-R, and if they give you the first sound and say word, don't try to talk them into giving you a second sound for it, because we're never going to teach that sound anyway. It doesn't matter. Right, and that kind of comes back to the assessment piece right here. Your students will never get 100% on this assessment. It's okay. They don't have to get 100% because that's not why we're doing the assessment.
And once they're into the 90s and 100s on the different subtests, we're moving to the advanced assessment.
Is that a different
anyway.
assessment?
Yes, the advanced assessments are different. We're probably not going to get to those today with this group, so we only got a half hour. So, but let me finish going over this with you. Okay, let's take a look at the WH. You'll see that there are two sounds for WH. We teach WH as saying, right? But it also says, like in the word who, that's a red word. We don't teach that sound. That's why it is highlighted. So do not worry about that sound, okay? Your student will get it wrong. That's okay, because we aren't going to teach it to them. Drop down to where the vowels are. And this is a little bit confusing. You will notice that there are only two schwa vowels that are not highlighted. What are the two vowels in OG that we teach as schwa? A and O we teach as schwa. So that's why those are not highlighted. Eventually you're going to want your student to tell you that A can be schwad and say and you're going to want them to tell you that O can be schwad and can say as well. But obviously not until you teach them that. But take a look at the U. You see the dotted lines in the schwad column for U? That's because schwad U says right? So if your student says you're going to give them credit for a short U sound. You're never going to give them credit for a schwad U. That's why there's not even a blank there. They're going to get it wrong. They're just basically going to get that particular column wrong on the schwad U. Look at the middle column where we've got the long vowels for the vowels. Okay, you will notice that U has two possible sounds for the long U sound. It is on one line. They get 1 point if they get both of them correct. They get 1 point because it's on one line. So however many lines it's on, that's how many points they're going to get. If you show your student the U and your student says, oh yeah, U says U. He says, but it also says oo, he gets 1 point. Because those are both long U sounds that we teach at DII. It is not something that the GE
Covers
covers,
them.
right, covers both of them.
If they only got one, would you count
They
it
get
wrong?
1 point,
Okay.
and you write down what they said.
Okay.
So if your student looks at the U and he says, oh, I know that U says U, then you're going to write down U with a macron above it because you need to know that my student, I'm going to assess to see if my student knows how to spell that sound when I do my auditory drill assessment. But they still only get 1 point. Okay? So does that make sense for the U? Okay? Look at the Y. Okay, if I show my student the Y, and my student gives me the long Y sound, we teach that long Y has two sounds. Long Y can say I, and it can also say E. If they give you both of those sounds, they get 1 point, because it's on one line. And you need to write down what they said. If they only get one of them right, if my student looks at the Y and says, oh, I know it says E, they get 1 point, and you're going to write down E with a macron above it, because you need to know which long Y sound your student knows when you get ready to do your auditory drill assessment. Okay? Is it starting to make sense? All right. jump over to UE, which is right about here on this column. UE. At DII, we teach that there are two sounds for UE. We teach that UE can say you, and it can also say oo. It's on one line. If they give you both of them, they get 1 point. And you need to write down what they said, so you know how to do that, how to give them the auditory drill assessment.
If they give you both of them, it's 1 point. What if they only give you one of them?
It's 1 point.
Still 1 point.
Still 1 point as long as it is one, as long as it's correct.
Right.
And you want to write down which one they gave you,
Okay.
so that when you
Okay.
go to assess, you're only going to assess for the one they gave you and not for the one they didn't give you. Okay?
For
So,
the auditory.
right, for the auditory drill, right. Look at EA. On the GE, there are 3 sounds for the EA. We teach E, we teach, wait a minute, I can't even read it now. We teach E, we teach F. We don't teach A because all the words that have A in them are red words that we teach. So that's why that is highlighted. Your student might know that EA says A, and they may give you A. Go ahead and give them credit for it. But we're not going to teach it to them, and I'm not going to give my student any words that have EA saying A in them because I'm going to teach those as red words. And until I teach that as a red word, I'm not going to give my student those words.
Many students have learned that in school,
Yeah.
so if you have a student and they know F, E,
E
A,
and
F,
I know, I'm forgetting it too. It's Saturday.
that's okay for them to say A. Now I'm talking about in tutoring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah. And I've got a student that does that. When I show her EA, she insists that she has to say the A sound, and I let her say it, because she's right, it can't say A.
But you still want to teach the order, right?
Right, yeah, and I teach her the order, and I don't usually give her words where EA says A, because I'm not focusing on that. So do you guys have any questions on how to read this? This is your cheat sheet. Okay?
All right. So on your first lesson, obviously you go, when we do the auditory, but again, we talked about that earlier, you can do it next session. Do we do the auditory in the post? No. So then we move on to spelling. So let's kind of go through the instructions on the spelling. Let's read the black font there and see if we have any questions. Any questions on that? Notice what do we do with the asterisks on any of the words with asterisks? Because tune, I think cartoon. I don't know, it's going to be tune radio. Again, 5 consecutive action. And then we're not really gonna go through this with Mel, because this is the one where you are dictating and they're writing down. And you can score that later, but you're always kind of keeping an eye on what they're writing, so you do know if they miss 5 consecutive.
May I add something? On the list with the asterisks, there's one that I usually give a sentence score with that isn't asterisk, and that's O-N-C-E. Once.
Yeah, because it could be W-A-N-T-S.
Yeah, but it's not, doesn't have an S.
Yeah.
So-
Use your best judgment, that would probably be a good idea too. And then the script, now I'm going to have you spell some words. Please write one word on each line going across the page. And again, you can point to it as you're talking. I can repeat the word if you need me to. Okay.
So you only give it once, because I sometimes do like a spelling test in school, you know, you give it a couple times, but you only say it one time
And if
unless they
need to be-
ask.
Yeah, then you can repeat it once. Okay. Any questions on the spelling part? Advanced.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the video off if that's okay.